All right, well, $10 doesn't buy you much these days. So I was at a thrift store. It was actually, doesn't matter, it was a thrift store. And there was this item, and it was $10. So I bought it. Knowing what it is a dough hook for a Hobart mixer. So this is an industrial grade kitchen dough hook for some type of big industrial mixer. And my daughter knows something about those things, so I brought it home and I showed it to my daughter and saying, hey, what do you think this is worth? She goes, oh, those are real expensive. So I went and looked them up, and I think knew they're over $500, something like that. And so I put it on eBay and I waited several months, and it finally sold, and it sold for $200. So what will $200 buy you? Well, $200 doesn't buy you much in electronic land either. So I waited and waited and waited on eBay, and this is what I came up with. This is a HP 8711C. Now, I've wanted one of these units for a while. A long time ago, I learned something special about them, and I've always wanted to try it. And for $10, this is going to be my try. Okay, so these things are a analyzer. So I'm sweeping a filter here, and you can see it's sweeping the filter. It's good from 300 kilohertz to 1.3 gigahertz. So pretty typical stuff. And it'll do this through measurement, and it'll do it really, really fast. You can set the sweep speed. It's a little slow right now. Let's set it to, oops, I didn't want to do that. We'll set it to, that's as fast as it'll go in this particular range, okay? So it's 487 milliseconds. If we change the span, we change the number of points and stuff, it'll go faster. These were listed as in the HP catalog as economy. I forget what they cost. You know, they're probably $30,000, but they're economy, and they're for testing, and they were supposed to be really, really fast. They have the capability of, like on a Nano VNA, I think the standard Nano VNA was something like 201 points, and then the Dislord software gets you to 401. This will do 1600. So depending on how many points you have, it'll cal different, and it'll sweep faster or slower. Now it does have a return loss bridge in it, so it'll do return loss measurements as well. So it'll do S11 and it'll do S21. But no vector information. It won't do VNA stuff. All right. So why did they get this so cheap? Well, you just have to wait. And somebody had this posted for around $475, and I offered them $200, and they took it. And it seemed like a pretty reputable dealer, and money back guarantee and stuff like that, and it does seem to be working and stuff. So again, another reason I got it so cheap is because nobody wants the 75 ohm version. So this is a 75 ohm version. Now, before people yell at me, this particular connector was already screwed up. It already had a 50 ohm connector screwed into it. You cannot put a 50 ohm end connector into a 75 ohm end connector. The pin is very, very large, and you will de-virginize the 75 ohm connector and spread it all out, and it'll be worthless at 75 ohms. That had already been done to this connector. I'm going to change these two connectors out. I already have replacements. I had a YouTube viewer send me those replacements a while back, not knowing what I was going to do with them back then, and now I have the perfect use. I'm going to swap these two out for 50 ohms. So I went ahead and screwed in another 50 ohm jobber over here, and so there is a mismatch right here at the input part. Now, will that screw up your measurements? If you still calibrate it at 50 ohms, it'll still work at 50 ohms, but you will have a loss in dynamic range. You'll have about a 14 dB loss in dynamic range if you use this thing at 50 ohms. But you can see, you know, just for sweeping filters and stuff out, yeah, it's still working. It's still working just fine. Okay, so yeah, 75 ohms. Nobody wants the 75 ohm ones. I've looked into it, and I believe I can change it all over. There's 75 ohm connectors, 75 ohm cables, and then 75 ohm couplers. And only one of the 75 ohm couplers needs to be changed back over. One of them's already 50. And in a later video, we'll see if we can't just swap the two. And I think that's going to work. I actually think that's going to work. All right. But the reason I wanted one for a very long time is, guess what? These are software hackable. Yes, back in the day, these are software hackable. There is online, you can search on 8711 converted to an 8712. And the 8712 is a vector network analyzer. So internal to this thing, it has all the vector information, okay? It keeps all of the phase information. And I believe if you operate this thing over the bus, over the HPIB bus, you can actually already get all of the vector information, and you could plot it yourself. You could create your own Smith chart external to this box. So it's already there. But if you take out the ROM and change some bits in the ROM, it'll tell this thing, hey, you're an 8712 now, and then this thing will become a vector network analyzer, and I should be able to get a Smith chart on the front panel. So that's my long-term goal. It'll be a good journey. Make quite a few videos. My next video will be, let's open this up, let's take a look at it. I've looked at the service manuals, I kind of understand the architecture of this thing. This one has, this is actually an expensive unit. This one has an option for a step attenuator inside. So this one has the step attenuator in it, and it gives you 60 dB of attenuation, which allows you to change the power level. So right now, you can set what power comes out, and I have it set to -10. I can change that, and I can change it down to -45. And so if you're testing amplifiers and stuff, that's a really good thing. You can put in really low signals and then look at the high signals on the other side. So as I do this, I can hear the step attenuator clicking. So I know this thing still has it in there. I was worried that this thing might have been stripped for all of its goodies, like a step attenuator, but nope, it's still in there. This thing seems to be pristine. When I powered it up, it went through all of the internal messages, and it did all the self checks, and it passes okay. So this thing seems to be a functional unit. Now, I don't know about the calibration data, and I don't know if that's a big deal or not. I know that it was calibrated at the factory, and you got a diskette, and you put the diskette in and loaded in a whole bunch of cal factors and stuff. So this thing may have forgotten all of its cal factors, and I might have to recreate all of those. So we'll see. But I'm just pleased as punch. It's already working, right? It's already doing its thing. So if I start to loosen one of these connectors, you can see, right? It's very, very fast. It's a nice, fast, zoomy thing. And I did calibrate it. I did a through calibration with a connector here. There is a cal. There's a normalization button. You hit normalization, and you can zero the thing. You can scale. You can scale it. You can change the reference level. Oh, that's really zoomy up there. So anyway, you can do everything. You hit the auto scale button, and it does its thing. What else does it have? And measurements, I don't know what those are. The source, you can set the frequency, the power, the sweep time, and some other menu things, and then you can change all the display things. We can do some averaging here. Averaging is off right now. Let's turn averaging 16 on, and there you go. The signal got a lot quieter when we put that average of 16 on. So system bandwidth. Oh, you can set to different bandwidths: high, medium, narrow, and fine. 15 hertz. So this will do a 15 hertz bandwidth sweep of this thing. So yeah, it's a really, really nice machine. So anyway, I thought I'd give you a preview. Just came in the mail today about 2 hours ago. And it looks like it's functional, and more videos to come.